So, as we finish the first half of the season of Season 2 of Ghost, Kane is arguably a character with one of the most interesting story arcs and developments this season, and coming off the back of Season 1, he's someone who wants to prove his worth and show what he can do to both his family and his new mentor Mecca. He's learning and showing that he has some smarts, but at the same time he needs to stay in his lane, because he's gone way too far with him putting the badge in Tariq's room, and it's a bit too soon for him to come after someone like Tariq, because he's gonna force Tariq's hand now. So in this video, we're gonna run through an in-depth analysis of Kane's character, look at his relationship with Tariq, Mecca, and Monet, and also his role and how it's gonna be impacted with Lorenzo's release as well. Now, with Kane's character analysis, there's going to be a heavy focus and reference to the 48 Laws of Power, because he's someone who uses to his advantage with Brayden and his own family, but he failed to use a key law when it came to Tariq, so we're going to paint the bigger picture of Kane's chess moves, and how he owns some advantages, but a lack of him finishing his enemy is going to be his ultimate downfall. But let's start with him in Season 1, because he was someone who is described as act first and think later, and there were definitely a lot of examples to back this up. He took Brayden and Trace and threw them both on corners in Queens. He sent bars to kill Tariq, he even killed Ramirez, and he also kept Lil Guap alive even though he came after Zeke. So he went against his family time and time again. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, why is Kane the way he is? He gets his trait from Monet. She said it's her fault the way he is, and Monet even backed this up this season. She showed us she's someone who also acts first and thinks later, with how she killed the contractor who was repairing her windows in the bar. This was very much a Kane-like move. She dealt with the contractor and then asked a question to her family about the missing money. But it can go even deeper, because Kane is someone who can't be controlled, and the lack of having a father figure around probably played a huge part in this, because it would have been tough for Monet to play both roles, just as it was for Raquel in raising Kanan, and salute to all the women who do play both roles. But before the season started, I said respect was going to be a huge thing for Kane, which he never got from Monet, who's always treated him more like a soldier than a son. The respect which she gave to Tariq is something that Kane has always wanted, but Monet and Kane, they're both to blame with what we just went through. So going into Season 2, we knew he was going to be someone who was going to be searching for this respect elsewhere, especially because Kane was ousted by Monet, which actually forced Kane into proving his worth to Mecca, who's the first person to really give him his big break and the respect that he's always wanted. And Kane, he's now out for himself and realized he has to make it out on his own, because sometimes you have to forge your own path, like Drew wants to draw and how Diana wants to make moves of her own, but he still tried to help his family when he found Mecca as the new connect, just as a way of making things up to Monet and the Tejadas for all the shit that he did in Season 1. But Monet shutting the door on him really just forced his hand into making the move on Brayden's product that he left in his car at his parents' place, and this of course left the Tejadas needing a new connect because they had no product. So we saw Lorenzo forcing Monet to accepting Kane back in as the new plug. And Lorenzo's always been the leader of the organization, even from inside. If you've noticed, he likes telling Monet and people what to do, which we'll get to later on in this video when we talk about what impact his release is going to have on Kane. But nobody can trust Kane, because he's out for himself, and Diana even questioned what his real motives are. She confronted him, and she'll definitely be keeping a close eye on him and his moves, as will Mecca, who's his new mentor and teacher. He first taught him to be aware of his surroundings, a lesson which Kane didn't learn, because he made the same mistakes as he did when he let Lil Guap follow him to Mecca's place. Tariq then followed him because he wasn't aware of his surroundings, so Mecca decided to show what happens when you don't listen and learn, when he had the chef kill Nuff, a power play in front of Kane to make sure he stays in line, and he made sure that he has control over Kane and his people that he's doing business with. That includes Brayden and Tariq, which we'll come to in a moment, because I want to stay on Mecca and Kane's relationship. Because even though Mecca has taught Kane how to control Tariq through manipulating Brayden, it doesn't change the fact that Mecca is still manipulating Kane. Kane just can't see it, so he needs to keep his head on a swivel and definitely be aware of his surroundings. Because the way Mecca has been using Kane for information on the Tejadas has been such a smooth move, because Kane feels like Mecca has given him this respect and position that he's always wanted. Kane's opening up to Mecca because it seems that Mecca has opened the doors to his life, when in reality Mecca is just showing him what he wants him to see. It's all a part of Mecca's bigger plan, which I'm sure Kane will learn about in the second half of the season. The question is, does he stick by the person who gave him this respect and opportunity? This is a question I'm going to come back to when we speak about Lorenzo picking Drew over Kane. So let's have a look at some 48 Laws of Power that Kane has used this season, with him manipulating Brayden and the situation with his family, forcing him to lean on him as his new plug. Now with Brayden, he used a combination of concealing his intentions, mastering the art of timing, and posing as a friend and working as a spy. he took on board what Mecca told him without Brayden is Tariq's weak link, and to get control over Tariq, he needs to be able to control Brayden, and he pushed Brayden by telling him that he's basically got an employer-employee relationship with Tariq, and he doesn't get treated like an equal. So he gave Brayden the opportunity to prove himself, knowing full well that Brayden is someone who's out to prove himself, just like Kane was, which he used as an opportunity to frame Tariq for Ramirez's murder. But what Kane failed to do with Tariq was plan all the way till the end, because in this moment when Kane planted the badge in Tariq's room, he had to take into account all the consequences, twists and turns, and obstacles that might reverse the hand that he dealt Tariq in sending him to jail, and this is something that Ghost did very well. The letter that he sent to Tariq proved it in episode 5, with how he pretty much thought of everything to the end. But Kane not implementing Law 29, planning all the way, is going to cost him, because the biggest advantage someone can have is being underestimated, and Kane is definitely underestimating Tariq. He doesn't know what St. Patrick is capable of and what Tariq's been through, which we went through in Tariq's character analysis. But something he did implement very well was Law 11, keeping people dependent on you, which is a law that Mecca taught him, and this is a law that made Kane realize just how important he is to Monet, because he's the plug, and without him Monet's business falls and crumbles, because you can replace Tariq and get someone else to move your product. So Kane is someone who's indispensable, and getting rid of him would leave Monet with a huge problem, which led to this huge argument between him and Monet, because Monet tried to use Tariq to find out who the Connect was, which put his and Tariq's life in danger. So soldier or son, definitely more of a soldier in my eyes, because Monet's made it clear that she won't hesitate to sacrifice Kane or even kill him herself. Which makes us ask the question, with Monet slipping and really losing control, if she's willing to sacrifice Kane, then is it beyond reasonable doubt to think that Kane, or possibly even Diana, could take out Monet in the future? I really wouldn't be surprised to see it, would you? After we saw Tariq killing Ghost, Tommy killing Teresi, Kanan killing Sean, Raquel having Kanan shoot Detective Howard in Raising Kanan, we definitely can't rule it out as a possible outcome. But before any of this happens, I think Kane is going to be forced into working with Monet, because even though Kane looks happy at the head of their family and the leader of their business being back, Lorenzo, he doesn't know that Lorenzo favors Drew over him, and this is what will hurt Kane even more in the second half of the season. He's going to be questioning, why Drew over me? And this is something that could push him into working with Monet and siding with Mecca, even after all of his manipulation. So it brings me full circle to the question that I asked earlier on in this video. Does he stick by the person who gave him this respect and opportunity, who's Mecca? I can definitely see it, based on Lorenzo picking Drew over Kane. So Kane is going to be at the center of the Tejada split and divide, and it's going to get intense towards the end of the season, because nobody has their chess moves in place at this moment in time. Kane hasn't planned all the way to the end with Tariq. Monet's slipping, and she's going to lose even more control. Mecca has played a perfect game so far, but that's going to change now that Lorenzo is out of prison, and Tariq himself, he needs to figure out a way to overcome all of his problems with Rashad Tate, Yaz, Lauren, Brayden, and him being the prime suspect, of course. So we're going to find a lot of these storylines with all these characters really going down to the wire, and ultimately, will Tariq catch up with Kane? I think we all know he will, but it's just a matter of how and what he does next. So drop all your thoughts on Kane Tejada and what you think's next for his character going into the second half of the season. Drop all your thoughts down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.